Alright guys, let's go ahead and continue on with the bouncing ball animation. Like I mentioned in the other video, we're going to add another principle of animation in this video tutorial. So squash and stretch is probably the most used and easiest to apply principle of animation. So we're going to look at all of the contact poses first. So mine would be in frame 4 here, and we want to apply a squash. Now before we do that, we have to grab our free transform tool, make sure we box select it, or if you click once on it, it should click and highlight all of it. But we want to move this little origin point here down to the bottom, and I'm going to hold down shift so it goes in a straight line. There we go. Because when we resize it, we want it to be using this as its point of reference instead of the center, because then you're going to, I'll show you. Don't do this next part, but if you leave it in the center and you try to squash it, now you're going to have to come back and place this at the bottom when we could just move it towards the bottom and it keeps its location. So that's a squash right there, and then we're going to move to the next contact pose, which is this one here, and do the same thing, move this origin point towards the bottom. And I'm actually going to do onion skin really quick because I don't remember how much I squashed it. Okay, here's my reference. Now, when there is less force, this one has, because it came from such a high location here, the first squash is always going to be more intense than these other contact poses because there's less force now. So this one may not be as intense as that one, but there's still some squash. And then this last pose over here will be even less, oops, forgot to move this, than the previous one. All right. So we've added some squash. Let's play that back. And already it is significantly better than before. If you want to loop your animation, you can click the loop button right here. And then this blue bar down up here kind of allows you to adjust what you want to replay. So much, much better. Okay, so we just applied squash. Now we want to apply the stretch. So most of the time, the stretch is applied right before the squash happens. But again, this is a simple animation. If you wanted to try it in other locations, just be very mindful of where it's going. So the squash happens here, so I want to come to frame 3 and then do the stretch. And this one can be a little tricky. The origin point stays in that area. I'm going to turn onion skin back. You want to come to a corner, one of these sides right here. Kind of stretch it and then hover over one of the corners again until you see that little rotating icon popping up, and we have to rotate it so that the ball is still following this path right here. So I'm using these points right here as a reference, and then you can also use that little circle as a reference too. And I want to stretch this a little bit like so. Oh, I might have stretched it a little bit too much. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna move on to the next squash would be right after the so right before the contact and then right after the contact too, or the stretch. Squash, my bad. Okay, so here let's do the same. Let's stretch this, rotate it, turn onion skin back on. And just like the squash, it gets less and less intense as we go along. think that might be the only point that we really need squash, because it starts to slow down, stretch. So we don't really need it. But I'll play it back just to double check. So let's play this back. Yeah, that looks good. If this bounce right here is higher, is this bounce, the second one for you, is higher, then you might want to actually apply a stretch. Here, let me just display them all. Somewhere around this area, but again, it has to be a pretty high arch happening here for you to need one. But awesome, guys. So now we've applied squash and stretch. You want to do a file save. And we're actually going to export this. If the timing looks good to you, I want you to export it. If you still need to go back and fix some timing issues, take this time to do so. And if you need me to review it, please come by and let me know. But once you see this and it looks great, let's go ahead and do a file, export. And I want an animated GIF for this one, so you're gonna do export animated GIF. This menu should pop up. And for now, since it is a work in progress, I don't mind that we see this path here at all. But you wanna go down to where it says save and hit save. You're gonna leave it as bouncing-ball.gif, and then the location should be your USB. And then you're going to hit save. I want you to upload the GIF file to the first part of this assignment. So I believe in Schoology it is called, let me open this up, Bouncing Ball Animation Part 1, Monday through Tuesday. So that animated GIF goes into that assignment. If I see that you have timing issues, then I'm going to want to see the FLA file too, so I can know where you might have gone wrong. But let me know if you guys have any questions.